Hello, I'm a duck. Let's talk about adrenaline. This is part 4 of my personal art journey implementing elements of the Spiderverse art style into my own. If you haven't seen parts 1 through 3, I highly encourage starting out with them to understand my mindset when approaching this art piece. Let's get into the video. I love action, dynamicism, and all that is incorporated with it. The feeling it provides is incredible. The amount of strength and energy sent coursing through you when witnessing or participating in a particularly invigorating action is sometimes unmatched. This can come in all types of forms. Doing a cool trick, pulling off a game-winning play, showcasing a once-in-a-lifetime display of skill. This is the very essence of Spider-Man's web swinging. Now that I had shown myself in 3 different scenarios what possibilities were out there for Spider-Man art, I had to get to the visual essence of what I felt was Spider-Man. This wasn't about which Spider-Man you had seen or identified with the most. It was about the feeling every Spider-Man gave anyone. The endless possibilities, strength, freedom, momentum, and the call to action despite the odds. Web swinging across the cityscape. I clawed at it like every other opportunity. The Across the Spider-Verse album is excellent, and Metro Boomin yet again set the stage for other artists like Sway Lee, Lil Wayne, and Offset to display their craft. It's only natural that my muse used it to direct me. The Spider-Verse process begins again with rough sketches of movement. I wanted the energy I felt from Leap again, but dialed up to 11. Of course, I had questioned whether that was even possible for me. The syndrome creeped in again. It was about time it returned. If you're confused by what I'm referring to, then you might not have seen my video prior to this series, A Walk in the Park. It sheds light on my constant back and forth with imposter syndrome and one of the steps I take to combat it. Here, however, it all happened quickly. I flew through the steps at breakneck speed and shoved it aside. Not because I was in a rush, but because that was the energy that the prior art had built inside me. The syndrome lurked out, but I continued to prove it wrong. The sketches were refined. The dynamic nature exploded from them. I couldn't just do one Spider-Man. I needed 3. I needed to showcase the possibilities of them being anyone. Silhouettes of pure energy. Now that they were here and ready with simple color, I needed the city. I needed the mistakes of the past pieces to pay off in a big way. The true building study had begun. And it was going to be marvelous. Time to set the stage. I wanted the camera tilted, and the city really helped display that. In a few different layers, I had separated buildings by distance, but wait. You all know that the sky had to come first. My love for clouds and light rays couldn't be ignored. Once that was done, lighting and detailing the buildings was my next task. This was where I dug deep into the details. I built assets like city windows and partitions to give depth. Then, after overlaying them to the main structures, I built more complexity for some and cut away for others. This was to break up the uniformity a bit and add unique elements. I lit some of the windows, but decided to return to that aspect later. I needed my Spider-Man to take on more depth. The syndrome was pushed farther and farther away, especially now while detailing the muscular structures of my 3 subjects. By the time I had gotten to the third Spider-Man, who was arguably my most favorite, I had experienced something rare. I had decimated imposter syndrome in the middle of an art piece, no matter what it threw at me. This catapulted me forward. I deepened shadows, I brightened lights, added subtle glares across the closest windows, and even decided to give the entirety of the city bounce lighting. Before I knew it, I'd done everything I could think of but one. I experimented with enhancing the movement with wind details. Were they in the way? Or did they add energy? Having found something to contemplate put me in a yes or no spot, and after consulting a few individuals on the feel of the art without telling them what was different, I decided that the wind details were a non-negotiable stance. I was done. Shot straight through to the finish line, with nothing in my path able to drag me down. I soared high off the adrenaline. 22 hours, 32 minutes. Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed part 4 of this series, and I just have to say I love this piece so much. I love adrenaline, and I talked a lot about Leap, so I'll go off on a tangent for a bit. I love Leap, it was great, it gave me so much energy, it invigorated me, it was what I needed to start this entire process. But for me to not even a whole art piece later say, you know what, I'm going to do Leap again, but I'm going to do it better. That's one of the scariest things I could have even told myself about this project, because adrenaline could have been the end. It could have just been the death of this. I mean, if it turned out bad, then it would have turned out bad. It's an experiment. It's all an experiment, and that's fine. It would have turned out however it was supposed to. But for all the fears that I had, I'm in the middle of Viewpoint. I'm like, yeah, that'll be a good idea. And then I stopped and I'm like, oh my God, that might be terrible. And then I finished Viewpoint. I enjoy that. And then I realized, oh, I have to do that idea that I said. I've been saying no what ifs, no buts. We're doing this. That was scary. It was real scary. And then at every turn, at every brushstroke, I killed a part of the fear. It just kept getting better. And so I felt great throughout the process of adrenaline. I was happy because no matter what happened, I was winning. And so yes, I love this piece. It is my favorite one of the series. But we're getting long-winded, so if you guys want to talk more about it, talk to me in the comments. Leave me things. I'll talk to you. If you liked anything that we talked about in the video or the art, do me a favor, leave a like. And if you want to see more, including part 5, which will be out soon, then subscribe to the channel. If you want to see any of my art, past or present, then you can find me on Instagram as SofaKing Duck. With that being said, I'll see you soon.